one of the things that I like to do every time that I arrive to the meal, um, is check my system, how the female is running. That's the first thing that I do. In my office, I have the screen where I can see everything basically. So I go there. The first thing that I do is check operator's screen, make sure everything is running fine. Um, I talk with the operator if I need it at that moment, see what he's doing, how is everything running.
Welcome to the Fit Science Podcast brought to you by Wisenetics. I am Carlos Campadal, dedicated to bring you the latest insights and discussions in the feed science industry. Get ready to expand your knowledge and stay ahead with today's episodes. So, for me, it is a pleasure to please introduce a person that I know very well. He's a friend of a brother, I'm sorry, of a very good friend of mine, Dr. William Pacheco. So for us today, it's a pleasure to have Hector Pacheco, who it is on his roles. He currently works for Mountaire Farms. And we're going to be talking today different things that happen around the feed mill. So with that, Hector, welcome. It's a pleasure to see you here virtually. And you please kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself so we could hit it off.
Yeah, hello, Carlos. Yeah, my name is Hector Pacheco. I'm working right now with Mountaire Farms. I have about 13 years of experience in feed milling. I worked before in automotive industry, and it was a big change. I working from automotive to come to feed milling. But since I started working on it, I like it a lot. So I feel engaged when I start working with Smithfield in 2011. So I've been working in the feed milling since that time, and I've been enjoying the time in the feed industry.
Great. No, that's good information. And Hector, yes, I as I know, your background is in mechanical engineering, of course, very handy with equipment, comes very well from the to the feed mill industry, but coming from the automotive industry from Honduras, and I know that change it from a car manufacturing to making feed, big change, huh?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit of has been those challenges working as an engineer there and then moving to become a female manager here in the United States, working in ag instead of the car industry?
Yeah, it's different. Two very different places to work. Um, a lot of procedures, SOPs, stuff like that. It's about the same, but we just apply it to a different to different places. Stuff like quality, how you make audits. Like when I was in the automotive industry, we had a lot pushing with quality. Where females is the same. It's just that we have to check something different. Um, Same like in the automotive industry, you have a lot of audits. We have them here too, so we have to make sure we have everything ready and every day keep up with anything that the FDA will check on us and make sure everybody's are working like supposed to and following all the procedures. So they are different, but in the procedures, and everything that you will have to deal with, they both got similarities. Yeah.
Good. Well, no. Well, thank you very much sharing about that. And since you, as I remember correctly, when you and I have chat in the past, you came to the United States, North Carolina, moved to the feed industry, went from Smithfield now to Mount Terre. Can you tell us a little bit about your all those years? I mean, your transition throughout those companies, your different job that you have done, and tell us what you do now, day to day, so we could kind of introduce the topic of working in the life of a day in the life of a feed mill manager.
Yes. So when I came with Smithfield, I came in 2011. I started working as a management trainee. So I remember at that time I worked for probably for one month in day shift, and then I went to work the night shift. So during that time, I think I worked for about 6 months as management trainee, and then I took the position of female supervisor during the night shift. So I worked in night shift probably for about 2 years and a half, and then I came to day shift, and I started working as a female maintenance manager, and then I took the position of filming manager in the Laurenburg Female, which I worked basically all those 9 years, and then I had the opportunity to come and work with Mountaire Farms, so I took that position. I took that the challenge at that time to come and work to um, a different female, but basically everything is the same. The only difference that have seen is that house got more formulas. So usually, I remember sometimes we have more than 20 formulas. When we were running hogs. Right now we have six, which is less formulas, but the challenges are the same. So we just have to keep up with everything. And so working in the feed industry, there is a lot of challenges. When I came to Mountaire Farms, this was a new female.
Mhm.
So at that time, the female was only 1 year old.
Wow, brand new. Yeah, exciting and challenge too.
Yeah. So when you get a new female, most likely will you have new people, new employees. So the challenge at that time was training. Training to the people, and I remember that the people was very engaged. So right now I feel like I have a pretty good team. They are everybody's pushing in their departments, and I can tell you like from receiving to load out, and feed the delivery, everybody's are engaged to do the best that they can. So and the fruits of that, we are in 2022 we won the facility of the year award.
That's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we won it again in 2023.
Hmm.
So win that back to back, I think it was a pretty good booster for my employees in the female, and I feel like everybody's are proud to what they do, and they always come to work and try to do the best that they can.
And for our audience, first of all, if you like, please give us a like on this on our podcast today. We have, like I mentioned, Hector Pacheco from Mountaire Farms. But just going back to the topic, for our audience, it's very important to know that for several years, and I don't remember the amount of time, but here in the United States, the American Fit Industry Association does a competition, and there's different audits and questionnaires you have to fill out, and different things to choose the female of the year. So it's not an easy task, and as far as I can remember, I don't think there has been ever a female that has won it back to back. And Hector, correct me if I'm wrong. So why I'm sharing this, so you know that the work that they do in that female is something, at least I will consider very special, because not an easy task.
Yeah,
Thinking about being the female of the year plus doing the day-to-day activities on a new female is a big challenge. So we really appreciate that. So being said that, Hector, and congratulations on those two back-to-back years.
thank you.
Can you tell us from your perspective, kind of go into detail a little bit more? What are those your day to day activities, a day in the life of a female manager, in order to keep it up, do the production you're supposed to, and keep the morale, especially now these days with all the different issues with labor and making everything function properly? Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences, your recommendations and suggestions? Our audience all over the world and also here in the United States can learn a little bit about that.
I always tell everybody there is no a perfect day in the female. and never is it's the same day in the female. So you always have something going on. Um, Today is different than yesterday. You have a lot of stuff going on. So one of the things that I like to do every time that I arrive to the meal um, is check my system, how the female is running. That's the first thing that I do. In my office, I have the screen where I can see everything basically. So I go there. The first thing that I do is check operator's screen, make sure everything is running fine. Um, I talk with the operator if I need it at that moment. See what he's doing, how is everything running. Um, so that's very important. In the morning, it's good to know where you are, and check everything. Also, in the mornings, the first thing that we do at 6 a.m. during day shift is take inventory. So the QA personnel is the personnel dedicated to take inventories. So once they take the inventory, they send to everybody's, and then I can see where we are with the inventory of ingredients and see if we have any inventory that is low, so we can communicate with purchasing and say, hey, we need this ingredient, or if not, we are good. And then we also send that inventory to them, so they can see in the morning
Mhm.
where we are and all that.
So it's a dynamic, interactive communication back and forth.
Exactly, exactly. So and then another thing that we have to do every day is the reconciliation of ingredients. So because we need to compare what was the inventory yesterday, how much we produce, and what is the inventory right now, and that way we can see if we have any variations, and if we have to uh, check if we have something going on, and also something that has to be done in the morning is if you got medication, you have to make sure to reconcile the medications, make sure everything is good with that, because that's something that the FDA will be pushing hard for us. So that's something that the person in QA in our case, they are the ones that do it. So just check, make sure we don't have any variations that can be a red flag, in the system. Um, so that's something that for sure we have to do in the morning, And then there is a lot of things to deal with in the female. Um, we have environmental tasks that we have to do. Like right now, every 3 months we have to take stormwater samples, send them to the lab, make sure all the metrics are in the ranges that the state is requiring. So same way with those emissions, make sure we have all the biohouses running properly, and nothing, and make sure that we are not sending not those outside. Then so there's a lot of regulations that we had to deal with in the field mill, and that we had to every day be on top of them.
So, and for our audience, please subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell to receive our notifications. So going back to the conversation, Hector, you did mention about reconciliation of drugs with FDA, environmental regulations. Can you detail a little bit for our audience from a female perspective, a little bit of what are those regulations? I mean, not in detail to know them, but I think it will be important for the audience to know, yes, that we have to deal, for example, medication drugs with FDA, environmental with EPA, and OSHA for worker safety. A little bit about those things that you have to keep in your mind and on your daily work as to in order to run the facility in a proper way.
Yes. So when we are talking about drugs, FDA, the rule for them is you have to be in the 5% of tolerances with your medication or your drugs. Okay, for us as Mountaineer, we are pushing for the 2%. So in that way, we will have a very good range of to comply with FDA. So basically, what we got when we are going to deal with drugs, what we do is same way we had to compare what was the inventory the day before. So we had to count all the bags that we have in the warehouse, all the bags that we have in the pellet floor, and also measure the microbeans. And with all that, those numbers that we have there, we have a weight that we have that morning, and then we compare to how much was the usage during the day before, and then we'll figure out where we are with that medication.
Oh, okay.
And if we want to get closer and closer those tolerances, there's a lot of things that you can do. If you have an automated system, you can play with your speeds. You can, if it's not enough, you can accelerate a little bit, or set up your parameters in your automatic system. Also, if you see that you are probably over tolerancing a little that drug, you can go ahead and reduce your speed. So there are a lot of things that you can see, especially, and that's something that I told the operators, hey, always be pending or your tolerances. Don't if you see a ingredient, any ingredient that is if it's not giving you enough, and you have to be retrying, there is something there in the system that you have to fix. Or if you start seeing that they are going over tolerances, same way, you can play with your speeds. And then the operators, if you teach them, they will understand it and they will start working on it,
Yeah.
because for,
Yeah.
for them it's better, because less alarms that they will have, it will be more production for them, less headache.
That's right.
So if they work and they follow the procedures, they will have a pretty good day, pretty good production. Everything will run normal. So that's something that I always tell the operators. Just if you see something, check it. If you can fix it, we can do it. So we will figure it out together.
Good. No, no, and I think that's a great piece of advice, especially for all those people out there that work in feed mills, that are managers or aspiring to be a manager or a supervisor. Because at the end of the day, I think that in our industry, on the feed industry worldwide, there's not like a written set of rules that everybody follows, and it's very common in many industries that we know that. But I think in the feed, being so small compared to other industries, there's a lot of not that much information. There's not that much career opportunities for people to learn more at the college level or those type of things. So getting advice with people from experience is always very valuable overall. So for our audience out there, if you learned something today, please share our video. We always like our everybody that is watching to please comment and tell us what you think about that, or if they have any questions. So Hector, thank you for all that on that. Now you talk a little bit about the things you do in the morning on the day as a feed mill manager. How do you transition for your afternoons? I know that also it could be something that you do in the morning can follow that, but do you change a little bit of your tasks and the things that you do compared to what you do in the mornings?
Yeah, usually every day I like to walk the female. You know, I think for a female manager, that's a very important thing, because you can go and look what you got inside the female. One thing is looking in from your office and all the paperwork and all the anything that you had to do, respond emails or anything that you had to do in the office. But it's very important to go to the other side, which is the production side. You will have to go there, talk with the operators, see what they're doing, walk the female. With the time, you are the one that will know that female, how that female sounds. How
Hmm.
machine sounds. And if you are walking around and then you hear something different, probably something's going on. Something we would need
Yeah.
to be fixed. So I usually during the afternoons I spend more time in the plant. If it's nothing like requires my presence during the morning, I usually if, focus more in tasks like reports and all that stuff that we'll have to do. But I always like to go and walk the female and everywhere, from the roof
Mm.
all the way to the bottom, go to receiving if I need it, and that will give you a very good perspective of what's going on in the female. Um, I would tell any female manager never stop going to see your plant in one day. Every day just go there, walk around, talk with the people, see what the people is doing, how they are doing, ask them how they are doing, and that way you show them the respect to for what they do, and also you know, or you see what's going on in the female. So that's something that we do, and usually in the afternoons we take another inventory. This time we
Okay.
usually take an inventory for only finished feed, and that way the guys in night shift can see where they are, and
Okay.
and, and we can prepare them for what's going on during the night, so they can see what kind of feed that they can do. And so I work together with my superintendents with that. Usually the superintendents are the ones that check the requirements from feed delivery, how many tons they need from each formula, and that way we can compare with the inventory how much we have, and then we can say, okay, we are covered with this formula and this formula got a negative number, so we need to focus on that formula. And the idea with this too is to make the less amount of changeovers that we can. So that's another thing that we'll have to be checking how efficient we can be. You know, so if every time that you make changeovers, usually is some downtime there. So that's something that I've been talking with my superintendents, and they've been working in it. They've been doing a pretty good job on managing that kind of things. So if we don't have to do this formula, just concentrate in the ones that we'll be pulling and make longer runs, and that way we'll be making changeovers and we'll be losing time.
Hmm.
So same way with maintenance, you can go around and look at what can be done and checking plans with the maintenance superintendent or the maintenance supervisor. Um, and like for us, we only have two pellet mills, so we have to make sure those pellet mills are running all the time. One down, you're at a 50% of your capacity. So we had to keep pushing with maintenance. So we had to concentrate a lot in preventive maintenance, and that way we don't have to be stopping pellet mills when we need that production. So all that kind of tasks that are very important for a filming manager to deal with.
Based on our conversation, just to kind of like summarize with our audience, you mentioned, of course, understanding and knowing your facility, being used to different sounds, especially from the mechanical components to see if there's something's going wrong, human interaction with your different workers, coordinating with your superintendents. So when you think about it, is it's not knowing just how to make feed. You need to have different skill sets that have to be developed overall, and attention to detail. I think that's kind of like a little bit of summarize. I don't know what you think about that, but that's how a little bit of what I was picking with your comments.
Yes, that's right. So with the experience, you can see, and you can see what kind of movements you can do in your female, and I think it's very important to pay attention to those details. Make sure you know where you are, and where you want to go, and depending of what is the necessity in that moment. So for us, like in the afternoons, we had to make sure we have all the feed that feed delivery needs. So we want to send those loads without waiting,
Yeah.
depending on what they need. So we concentrate and make what the needed feed is.
So, for our audience, Hector, can you comment a little bit how much, if it's possible, to tell us how much feed you guys make in a year, the capacity of your two pellet mills, what type of feeds you make, just to put a little bit in context so people can see the magnitude of the facility that you work.
We in our feed mill, we make pretty good amount of feed. We are running usually between 21,000 to 24,000 tons of feed per week right
Wow.
now, and that's the demand. So that, as I was telling you before, that's why we need to make sure the equipment is running, like supposed to in a full capacity, because we need to comply with all that feed that we'll have to make. So we have two pellet mills. They are rated for 90 tons per hour.
Okay.
And sometimes, if we need more, we kind of push them a little bit more, a little bit more, But if we can get those 90 tons per hour, we are happy. So right now, yearly, we are making a little more than 1 million tons,
Wow. Just imagine that.
a little more than 1.1 million tons. So last year basically was a record for us. So we made a lot of feed last year, but we are in the range a little bit more than 1 million tons per week per year. Sorry.
Wow, that a million tons is a lot of feed. And so you said 90 tons per for your capacity of your each pellet mill that you have, or both of them combined?
Each pellet mill.
Each, wow, yeah, those. So what will be the size or the diameter of your die, so people can get an idea of it?
So the dies that we are using are 42 inches.
Okay.
We use 600 HPs, and so it's pretty good size. It's pretty good size diameter of the die.
So that would be somewhere 106, 107 centimeters for those that are abroad that don't use inches, but that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about a one more than 1 meter. That's pretty big. So, wow, that those are very impressive numbers, and I'm sure that you guys are very proud of it. As I understand, one of the biggest feed mills in the United States, and
Yes, that's
wouldn't
right.
surprise me, one of the biggest ones around the world on that. So, mainly chicken feed, of course, broiler. As I understand correctly, that you make.
Yeah, we made six formulas. Everything is broiler. So we feed all the basically all the farms that are going to our plant in Lumberbridge, which the plant in Lumberbridge is the biggest processing plant for chickens in the world. So it's a huge processing plant. So we feed all those chickens that are going there, and also part of those chickens are fed by our female in Candor, which is the other female that we have here close to to
Okay.
to the Maxton female.
Those are very very important and a big area in production of chickens in the United States. So
It's time for our famous three. With its advanced industry-specific capabilities, Best Mix software empowers nutritionalists and formulators to optimize material allocation, manage recipes, and ensure data confidence for informed decision-making. By providing a comprehensive solution that integrates real-time data and strategic planning tools, Best Mix enables you to do the job efficiently and precisely. Focus on your core job and let Best Mix do the rest.
Hector, we're coming a little bit to the end of our podcast, but like every feed science podcast that we host, we always like to ask some questions about so we could help our participants learn more and get some recommendations from you. So if you could share a little bit what will be your favorite book or resources that you will follow to learn more about our industry overall, feed manufacturing, latest trends? What would you recommend? Anybody that wants to know what resources to follow?
Yeah, one of the things that I do if I want to learn something is internet. You can have a lot of information there. You just have to know what you want to learn, and you can go there and search for that information. And usually, it's pretty good information there too. Like for us too in our company, we have a lot of SOPs. So I always tell the operator, hey, if you have any doubt of what you need to do in your workstation, go and open your own SOP and check it out. So every company has SOPs.
Mhm.
The operators can go there and take a look of them if they got any questions. But I think those are pretty good places where you can go and figure it out if you have any doubts.
Good.
And in, in the feed mills, in the feed mills.
No, that's very important. And for our audience, please visit our site, wisenetics.com, and learn more about all of our podcast segments like poultry, swine, dairy, beef, this one on feed milling, and of course now on pet food. So, with that, Hector, one last question and comment. To be a successful professional in our industry of feed, what do you recommend somebody starting their career in this? What do you say? Do the skill set, follow this advice. What do you recommend somebody?
I will say always have the desire to learn. That's the first thing. That's what I tell everybody is in the meal. Hey, if you want to, if you have the desire to learn, you can progress pretty good in this industry. Every time that we receive a new employee, we ask them what you know about female, and they usually don't know that much. Why? Because we don't have so many females around,
That's right.
and that's why we had to start from zero with them. But I have seen that even though if this personnel doesn't have the experience, but they have the desire to learn, I have seen they progress pretty quick in the feed industry, and we have pretty good examples in my plant, because we have people that is been coming like from be an operator. Now they then go to maintenance
Hmm.
and want to keep learning, then go to be part of and be a leader in maintenance. And then same way somebody that was in like as a maintenance now is a maintenance superintendent, from a technician to a maintenance superintendent. So I think if in this industry, if you want to do the things right, and you want to that desire, and you have that desire to learn, I think it's basically what you need, and then just never stop learning. I think in the feed industry, I have 13 years already working in feed milling, and I haven't stopped learning yet. So we can't say that I know everything, because it's not right. Always you have something to learn. Always you have something and your daily task that probably you will have to deep in a little bit more and learn a little bit more of it. So that's my advice. Never stop learning. Try to do the best. Always that you somebody assign you a task, do the best that you can, and learn from that experience.
Well, that's a great piece of advice. I agree. Never stop learning. And of course, put in my hat being in the academic world, also for professionals and at the Kansas State University International Range Program Institute, I agree with that. I mean, never stop learning and always be curious and do the best effort every time you're given a task. So with that, thank you very much, Hector, for joining us today on the Feed Science podcast. And for our audience, This concludes another episode of the Feed Science Podcast presented by Wisenetics. Thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, stay updated on future episodes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. Your feedback is very invaluable for us. Until next time, this is Carlos Campabadal from Kansas State University, being the host of the Feed Science Podcast, now signing off. Thank you very much.
Thank you.